Hello there. Today, we're embarking on a captivating journey as we step back in time to explore the epic religious drama film, The Ten Commandments. I'm sure many of you have fond memories of this classic show. The Ten Commandments is a timeless gem that has left an indelible mark on television history. Join us as we relive the magic, revisiting the movies with the entire cast, then and now. We'll uncover the original identities and ages of the talented actors from the show and witness how they've transformed in 2024. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of the Ten Commandments. Number 1. Charlton Heston as Moses. Born into the Egyptian royal family, he later identifies strongly with his Hebrew heritage. His life is marked by a deep sense of justice, compassion, and unwavering faith. Despite his privileged upbringing, Moses confronts the oppressive forces of his time fearlessly. Watch him take on the big, bad forces of oppression, standing up for what's right without a second thought. It's a story where charisma, faith, and good old-fashioned guts come together for a ride you won't want to miss. Charlton Heston, a towering figure in the entertainment industry, emerged as one of the most commanding stars of his era. With an imposing stature and a resonant voice, Heston's career spanned the realms of stage, television, and feature films. His early roles in feature films like The Greatest Show on Earth, 1952, showcased his talent. But it was his performances in biblical epics such as The Ten Commandments, 1956, and Ben-Hur, 1959, that solidified his position as a leading man in Hollywood. The latter earned him an Academy Award for Best Actor. Heston continued his success with a steady stream of historical epics, and, as the 1960s came to a close, he ventured into the realm of science fiction classics, notably starring in Planet of the Apes, 1968. His influence and prolific career left an indelible mark on 20th century cinema, providing audiences with unforgettable performances that spanned various genres. Charlton Heston's legacy endures as one of the most memorable actors in the history of the silver screen. Moses played by Charlton Heston when he was 33 years old. Sadly, Heston died due to pneumonia on the morning of April 5, 2008, at his home in Beverly Hills, California. Number 2. Yul Brynner as Ramesses. Love him or loathe him, Ramesses stands as one of the mightiest and most prideful pharaohs, ruling with an iron fist. His authoritative demeanor and unshakable confidence make him a born leader, commanding respect and obedience from his subjects. However, beneath the facade of strength lies a man grappling with deep-seated insecurities and an insatiable thirst for validation. Took up acting after a serious accident curtailed his career as a circus acrobat. Briner moved to America in 1940 and gave the first of 4,625 performances, over the course of many revivals, as the King of Siam in the hit Broadway musical The King and I in 1951. Briner recreated the role for the 1956 screen version, winning an Oscar as Best Actor, and subsequently began a successful starring career in films. Trading on his handsome looks and somewhat imperial manner, Briner played a succession of royals, secret agents, and gunslingers, notably in The Magnificent Seven, or 1960, and Westworld, 1973. When he developed lung cancer in the mid-1980s, he left a powerful public service announcement denouncing smoking as the cause, for broadcast after his death. The cancer and its complications, after a long illness, ended his life. Briner was cremated, and his ashes buried in a remote part of France, on the grounds of the Abbey of Saint-Michel-de-Bois-Aubry, a short distance outside the village of Louzet. He remains one of the most fascinating, unusual, and beloved stars of his time. Ramesses played by Yul Brynner when he was 36 years old. Sadly, Briner died of lung cancer on October 10, 1985, at New York Hospital at the age of 65. Number 3. and Baxter as Nefertiri. Bow down to the incomparable queen, Nefertiri, a woman with a heart as pure as gold and a mind as sharp as steel. She's not just a formidable figure, she's a mastermind who deftly navigates the treacherous waters of the Egyptian court, using her intelligence and striking beauty as weapons. Nefertiri is a force of determination, crystal clear in her desires and fearless in pursuing them. Make no mistake, when she sets her sights on a goal, nothing in the world can stand in her way. A luminous screen presence, best known for a handful of roles, Anne Baxter acted in 3 Broadway productions while still in her teens and was soon invited to Hollywood. Her early films were not of consistent quality, but the lovely, husky-voiced actress usually managed to make a positive impression and showed genuine ability in pictures as varied as Orson Welles' The Magnificent Ambersons, 5 Graves to Cairo, and The Razor's Edge, winning a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for the latter. However, she was best remembered for her indelible performances as a ruthless, success-driven young actress in All About Eve and the gorgeous and nefarious Nefertiri in Cecil B. DeMille's religious epic, The Ten Commandments. Principal among these was Applause, a musical reworking of All About Eve, for the stage in which the now older Baxter successfully assumed the role of the character she had deceived in the film. It was that sort of versatility and professionalism that allowed Baxter to earn numerous credits in 3 different mediums over a career spanning almost 50 years. Nefertiri played by Anna Baxter when she was 36 years old. Sadly, she died while having a stroke on December 12, 1985 in New York City at the age of 62. Number 4. Edward G. Robinson as Dathan. Introducing Dathan, a cunning and shrewd character painted with the colors of egoism and manipulation. Despite enjoying vast wealth and influence, his appetite for power remains insatiable. Dathan, a master of deception, skillfully wields charm and charisma to manipulate those in his orbit. Edward G. Robinson, an iconic figure from Hollywood's golden age, carved a niche as the ultimate tough guy on the silver screen. Despite his real-life persona as a soft-spoken, intellectual, and selfless individual, Robinson became synonymous with portraying cold-eyed Machiavellian thugs in classic films. His notable roles in films like Little Caesar, 1931, The Seawolf, 1941, and Key Largo, 1948, showcased his ability to embody ruthless characters. However, Robinson's versatility allowed him to transcend the tough guy archetype. He displayed rapid-fire comic timing in screwball outings like The Whole Town's Talking, 1935, and brought colorful, cerebral support to films such as Double Indemnity, 1944. Dathan, played by Edward G. Robinson, when she was 36 years old. Robinson died of bladder cancer at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles on January 26, 1973. Number 5. Ivon De Carlo as Sephora. For those in search of a hero, meet Sephora. This fearless woman embodies strength and resilience, fearlessly standing up for her beliefs and breaking free from traditional expectations to chase her own dreams. Despite encountering numerous obstacles, Sephora remains unwavering in her determination. As a skilled midwife and healer, she employs her talents to aid those in need, showcasing remarkable compassion for those who are suffering. A vibrant performer with a rich voice, Ivon De Carlo rose to stardom in the 1940s and became best known for her role as Lily Munster in the horror spoof sitcom The Munsters, CBS, 1964-66. Known for her likable personality and talent, she had a flair for comedy. In 1956, De Carlo had a significant role in the film The Ten Commandments, playing Sephora, the wife of Moses, Charlton Heston. The film became a massive success and is still celebrated today. Her performance served as a stepping stone for another notable role as Amantha Starr in Band of Angels, 1957. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, De Carlo made appearances on television series like Bonanza, 1959, and The Virginian, 1962. As film opportunities dwindled, she took on the iconic role of Lily Munster in The Munsters, a move that kept her in the public eye. Despite her TV success, she continued to appear in films such as McLintock, 1963, The Power, 1968, The 7 Minutes, 1971, and La Casa de las Sombras, 1976, maintaining her presence in the movie industry. Sephora is played by Ivon De Carlo when she was 54 years old. Sadly, she died from heart failure on January 8, 2007, and was cremated in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles. Number 6. Deborah Paget as Lilia, a captivating and alluring woman who effortlessly radiates grace and beauty in every scene she graces. Despite humble origins as a slave, Lilia possesses an unyielding will, refusing to be controlled by anyone. Fiercely loyal to her beliefs, she stands unwavering in her convictions. Lilia's kind and compassionate nature extends a friendship to many, always ready to lend a helping hand to those in need. Beyond her resilient spirit, she is a skilled dancer, captivating audiences with performances that showcase both her grace and beauty. A hot yet invariably sympathetic and demure leading lady of the 1950s, Deborah Paget was often cast in exotic roles, such as Native American or South Seas maiden princesses, in a series of fairly routine melodramas and westerns of the period. A lovely brunette, she had a warm, pleasant, and romantic screen image, though for much of her 15 years in the movies she was used for largely decorative purposes, as the obligatory ingenue, romantic partner, or second lead. Paget later ventured into international films, notably appearing in Fritz Lang's adventure saga, The Indian Tomb, 1960. She concluded her Hollywood career with roles in stylish period horror films like Tales of Terror, 1962, and The Haunted Palace, 1963, from American International Pictures. Paget briefly explored acting on stage in her early teens before being signed by 20th Century Fox. She made her film debut in Robert Siodmak's film Noir Cry of the City, 1948, which marked the beginning of her career. Lilia played by Deborah Paget when she was 23 years old, and now she is 90 years old. Number 7. John Derek as Joshua Meat. Joshua, a man facing obstacles that would make others quiver in fear, but not him. With faith in his heart, a sword in his hand, and a fierce determination, he's ready to conquer any challenge. Joshua isn't just a leader, he's a trailblazer, inspiring those around him with unwavering conviction to fight for what's right and never give up, no matter how daunting the road ahead. His great integrity shines through as he consistently puts the needs of his people before his own. John Derek started as a minor young lead in Hollywood films during the late 1940s and early 1950s. Although he gained attention for his darkly handsome features, he achieved greater fame as a photographer and director, particularly for his work in cheesecake and softcore films featuring his famous wives. His notable spouses included actresses Ursula Andress, Linda Evans, and Bo Derek. Despite initially signing a contract with Columbia and landing substantial roles in films like Knock on Any Door, 1948, and All the King's Men, 1950, Derek's career shifted towards costume adventures, and he gradually faded from the Hollywood spotlight. In the late 1960s, he transitioned to still photography and directing, focusing on salacious films featuring his famous wives, particularly Ursula Andress and Linda Evans. Derek found significant success directing his younger and less experienced wife, Bo Derek, in a series of soft-core films. These included notable titles such as Tarzan the Ape Man, 1981, and Bolero, 1984, which, despite harsh criticism from reviewers, became commercial hits. Joshua is played by John Derek when he was 30 years old. Sadly, John Derek died on May 22, 1998, of cardiovascular disease in Santa Maria, California, at the age of 71. Number 8. Cedric Hardwick as Sethi. Behold King Sethi, the illustrious ruler of Egypt. On one hand, he stands as a committed leader, dedicated to preserving order and stability in his kingdom. Simultaneously, he is a loving father, earnestly desiring the best for his son, Ramesses. However, Sethi's imperfections weave through the fabric of the film. His stubbornness and unwavering adherence to his own views become apparent, often causing him to dismiss the counsel of those around him, even when it could serve his best interests. Sir Cedric Hardwick, born on February 19, 1893, in Leigh, England, was a distinguished character actor known for his significant contributions to both stage and screen during the early decades of the talking picture era. He attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art and embarked on his stage debut in 1912. Hardwick's career was briefly interrupted by military service in World War I, but he resumed his theatrical pursuits in 1922 with the Birmingham Repertory Theatre. In 1936, Hardwick made his debut on the American stage and decided to permanently relocate to the United States after a successful season with the Old Vic in 1948. His distinguished career on stage, in films, and on television was marked by his resonant voice and aristocratic presence. Some of the major films featuring Hardwick include Les Miserables, 1935, Stanley and Livingstone, 1939, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1939, Suspicion, 1941, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, 1949, and The Ten Commandments, 1956. Sethi played by Cedric Hardwick when he was 65 years old. Sadly, he suffered from emphysema and died 6 August 1964 at the age of 71 in New York from its disease. Number 9. Nina Foch as Bithia. In a time fraught with oppression and danger, Bithia emerges as a beacon of hope and courage. Her daring and rebellious spirit takes center stage as she defies societal norms to rescue the life of an innocent child. Motivated by her compassionate heart, Bithia courageously breaks rules and opposes her own family to provide baby Moses with a chance at life. Nina Foch, a tall and blonde actress who transitioned from being a lead in B-films during the 1940s to a character actress in the 1950s, was often cast as cool and aloof women with a sophisticated exterior that thinly veiled their insecurities. She left a notable impression as one of Bela Lugosi's victims in the enjoyable Return of the Vampire, and portrayed another victimized heroine in Joseph H. Lewis's unsettling gothic noir, My Name is Julia Ross. Foch gained recognition for her memorable performance as Milo, the wealthy arts patron attempting to entice painter Jerry Mulligan, Gene Kelly, with her money in Vincente Minnelli's Oscar-winning An American in Paris. Her Oscar-nominated role as the loyal secretary in the all-star Executive Suite, and her portrayal of one of the fleeing Israelites in Cecil B. DeMille's holiday classic, The Ten Commandments, also showcased her talent. Bithia is played by Nina Foch when she was 41 years old. Sadly, Foch died from blood disorder on December 5, 2008, aged 84, at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. Number 10. Martha Scott as Jochebed, a formidable presence in the epic film, radiating strength, courage, and a maternal love that weaves through the entire narrative. As Moses' mother, she confronts insurmountable challenges and obstacles, yet her unwavering determination to protect her son stands as a testament to a mother's enduring affection. Jochebed is not only a symbol of maternal love, but also a woman of indomitable faith. Even in the darkest moments, she places her trust in God's plan for her son, embodying a resilience that adds a profound layer to the story. An attractive, accomplished actress, Martha Scott began her professional career appearing in Shakespearean productions at the 1933-34 Chicago World's Fair. After further honing her craft in stock and on radio, she made her mark as Emily in the 1938 original Broadway production of Thornton Wilder's Pulitzer-winning Our Town. Scott earned a 1940 Best Supporting Actress Oscar nomination for her film debut recreating the stage role. The actress played the mother of Charlton Heston, 9 years her junior, in two 50s biblical epics, Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments, and William Wyler's Oscar winner Ben-Hur. After an absence of a decade and a half, Scott returned to acting as a nun on board a distressed plane in the schlocky sequel Airport 1975, and offered an astringent turn as a ballet company manager in Herbert Ross' The Turning Point. Jochebed played by Martha Scott when she was 44 years old. Scott died on May 28, 2003, in Van Nuys, Los Angeles, age 90, from natural causes. Number 11. Judith Anderson as Memnet. A leading Broadway star from the 1920s through the 50s, Judith Anderson was perhaps most famous for her award-winning performance as Medea in 1947, as a formidable Lady Macbeth opposite Laurence Olivier in London in 1937, and Maurice Evans on Broadway in 1941, and as an interpreter of the neurotic heroines of Eugene O'Neill, Nina in Strange Interlude in 1928 and Lavinia in Morning Becomes Electra in 1932. Anderson made her film debut in 1933 and played the sinister housekeeper Mrs. Danvers in Hitchcock's Rebecca 7 years later. It was the first and most memorable in a series of malevolent character roles that made good use of her commanding presence. Cast against type, Anderson made an effective Big Mama in Richard Brooks's film adaptation of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, 1958. Late in her career, she gained a new following as campy grande dame Minx Lockridge on the NBC soap opera Santa Barbara. She also recorded many spoken-word record albums for Caedmon Audio from the 1950s to the 1970s, including scenes from Macbeth with Maurice Anderson, Victor in 1941, an adaptation of Medea, Robert Louis Stevenson verses, and readings from the Bible. She received a Grammy nomination for her work on the Wuthering Heights recording. Memnet is played by Judith Anderson when she was 59 years old. Sadly, Anderson spent much of her life in Santa Barbara, California, where she died of pneumonia in 1992, aged 94. Number 12. Vincent Price as Baka Vincent Price, known for his distinguished career as an actor, raconteur, art collector, and connoisseur of haute cuisine, had a family that, while not excessively wealthy, was prosperous enough to demand respect. His unique voice and persona were shaped by a well-rounded education that included a tour of Europe's cultural centers and eventually led to a BA in English from Yale University and a degree in art history from London's Courtauld Institute. Although Vincent Price is often associated with Gothic horror on screen, especially in the early 1960s when he collaborated with B-movie producer Roger Corman on films like House of Usher, 1960, and The Tomb of Ligeia, 1964, he was primarily a man of the stage. As his film acting career declined in the late 1960s and beyond, Price continued with guest appearances on TV shows and voiceover work. His earlier work in the horror genre gained increasing appreciation, particularly among die-hard fans, including director Tim Burton. In 1982, Burton paid tribute to Price with a short film titled Vincent, which Price narrated. The iconic actor's final film role was in Burton's Edward Scissorhands, 1990, a fantasy romance that earned him posthumous acclaim. Baka played by Vincent Price when he was 45 years old. Sadly, he died at age 82 of lung cancer on October 25, 1993, at his home in Los Angeles, California. Number 13. John Carradine as Aaron. John Carradine had his roots in Shakespeare, whose tragedies and histories he memorized as a schoolboy. Hitchhiking west to break into films, Carradine wrestled a contract out of 20th Century Fox, but generally did his best work for other studios, notably with director John Ford in Stagecoach, Drums Along the Mohawk, 1940, and the Academy Award-winning The Grapes of Wrath. A free agent during World War II, Carradine played Nazi thugs and mad scientists with equal aplomb while inheriting the Dracula cape from Bela Lugosi for House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula, cementing a lifelong association with fright films. In his later years, Carradine appeared in Joe Dante's whip-smart horror satire, The Howling, and Francis Ford Coppola's lyrical Peggy Sue Got Married. Aaron played by John Carradine when he was 50 years old. Sadly, semi-retired by the late 1980s, Carradine suffered from painful and crippling rheumatoid arthritis in the years before he died from heart and kidney failure at the Fate Benefratelli Hospital in Milan, Italy, on November 27, 1988, at the age of 82. As we reflect on the incredible journey of the Ten Commandments cast from 1956, witnessing their growth and transformations, it's evident that the bond forged during those years has left an enduring legacy. From thrilling highway pursuits to heartwarming moments, these actors brought the California Highway Patrol to life. Their stories continue to resonate with fans around the world. As we explore their then and now, we celebrate the enduring impact of the Ten Commandments. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic trip down the California highways with the remarkable The Ten Commandments cast of yesteryear.